It's our CART 1998 season finale, and we have 5 drivers still mathematically able to win the championship, but 4 of them realistically able to take glory here. For this final race of the season, we stay in California, moving to Fontana and the California Speedway for third and final oval race this season. Now, with so many contenders still in the mix, we don't need to go through each and every scenario. We will rather talk about that during the race when it makes sense to analyze the current live standings. Dario Franchitti, still without a win this season, still is in the prime position to take the championship here, as he is our current points leader, mainly impressing through consistency and 2 second place finishes. Along with Bryan Herta, Michael Andretti and Jimmy Vasser, Greg Moore is another driver that could win the championship here, and like Franchitti, he could do so without having won a race so far. So you can already see how competitive this season is and was. And well, you might have seen by clicking on this video that this episode is a lot longer than the other ones, and that is down to this race and the title fight playing out in an absolutely dramatic and unforeseeable way, so it was hard to keep it within the usual 20 to 30 minutes. Now, as we were talking about Greg Moore already, this race and this video is dedicated to the super talented Canadian who tragically lost his life in an accident at Fontana in 1999, just 1 year after the race we will see today. We'll compete as him today, trying to take him to championship glory here, a feat that he surely would have achieved had he not lost his life in his mid-20s. This is for Greg. And now, of course, let's look at the starting grid for today's race. And one of the championship contenders has taken pole position. Michael Andretti starts from first, giving him a great opportunity to fight for the championship here. Alex Zanardi is in second. He's out of that mathematically already. Bryan Herta then in third, another one that could win the championship and has won the last race at Laguna Seca. Dario Franchitti, championship leader, in fourth. So these 3 together in the top 4. This is going to be very, very exciting, but the grid position does not matter at all pretty much at an oval race, so yeah, also bear that in mind. Bobby Rahal then starts from 5th, Christian Fittipaldi 6th, Scott Pruitt 7th, then ourselves, the next championship contender, only down in 8th, Jimmy Vasser in 9th, and he still has chances, but these are pretty much only mathematically, so just for the sake of completeness, I mentioned that. Gilles de Ferran then in 10th, and then we have Marc Blondel, Alonso Jr., Patrick Caponti, Paul Tracy, Adrian Fernandez, Michel Jourdain Jr., Tony Kanaan, Max Papis, Richie Hearn, Andre Ribeiro, Mauricio Gugelmin, Robbie Gordon, Arndt Meyer, PJ Jones, and Alex Barron for the rest of the grid. And here we are, rolling towards the line, waiting for the green flag to be waved, which is the case right now. And we're on the way at Fontana for the California 500, the season finale of our CART 1998 mini-season. And it was an incredible start by Scott Pruitt, and now we lost a position to Gilles de Ferran as well, as we're trying to move past Christian Fittipaldi in the Newman Haas car just ahead of us, which we don't do. And now, well, it's the first task we have to do for championship ambitions is to cycle up the field and, well, be at the top when it matters. So yeah, that we are in that fight also strategy wise. Now, this is how the live championship would look like after the first lap of 125. Now, of course, things will change, and things are changing already here, as we just made it past Dario Franchitti. Now, this is just to give you an idea where everyone is and how the championship would look like if they finished around that order. So what we can already see is that Dario Franchitti, well, he needs to be further up the grid. Of course, he's the championship leader, but he should be around the podium positions to actually be able to defend that championship lead here in the final race, especially with Andretti leading this race here today. And, well, you've seen us, we were still down, and yeah, we need to be a bit lucky as well, of course, that the 3 drivers that are in the standings ahead of us, so Andretti, Herta and Franchitti, that they don't have the strongest race here, and so we can take a couple of points away from them. But yeah, as I mentioned, the first task we have on our hands is to move up and be at the front and be at the fight for the lead, because to win the championship, of course, we should to be in a position to even think of it. We need to win this race, and yeah, to be in a position to do so, we should be in the top 3-4, and to keep there. So yeah, this is what we're just trying to do. And we have already moved up a couple of spots. And yeah, let's use this opportunity as we just moved past Alex Zanardi, who ran a little too high there. Or at least that was my impression. Oh, and now look how quick things change now. Andretti is just ahead of us, just one car further ahead. Bobby Rahal is the next car. And Andretti is just ahead of him. So he's dropped down from the race lead. And yeah, this is one of the things characteristic for Fontana. This is a super speedway. We also see the cars run in a different aero kit today. So yeah, you can see these rear wings look very different to what they usually do. And yeah, also the front wings. You will see later when we have a couple of outside shots that well, the front wings are, for some cars, they're just barely there, and for all of the cars they don't even have end plates. So yeah, this is all for straight line speed, and you can see that if you're running in the slipstream of the car ahead, as we just moved past Bobby Rahal, who didn't get a great run here through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, the speeds that these cars reach here are absolutely insane. On the home straight, when you're running in the slipstream, you're getting very, very close to 400 kilometers an hour. You can see it on our steering wheel. We're getting into the high 319 kilometer an hour area. Ooh, as well, there was a little bit of slowing down from the cars ahead. We used that to move past Bryan Herta, but now we're just behind Gilles de Ferran, who had an absolutely awesome start, as he is now, oh, he's even going for the race lead, and he's taking it. Gilles de Ferran, he started behind us, and now he's already in the race lead, so this gives us hope. And, well, of course, also where we are running right now should give us hope, because we had a very good start to this race as well. As you see, we're just running behind these guys. And now, oh, we're even going for the race lead. 4 wide into turn 3. Oh, Herta, Pruett, and the Ferran stay ahead, and now we even have to let Andretti go, sadly. But, well, this won't have been our last chance. But yeah, as soon as you just make one mistake by choosing the wrong line, look how much you're losing, as now even Bobby Rahal is trying to move past us, but now, well, Andretti was in his way, so yeah, he didn't manage to find a way past there. And now we're just behind Scott Pruett in 5th. Now this is a good opportunity here, the low line, and in the slipstream of the car ahead. And we move past Pruett and are up in 4th. Well, and now let's see what we can do from here. Now, Bryan Herta, the car ahead of us, and we move past him, and we are also getting a great run on Andretti and the Ferran. And now, for the first time this day, we are able to get the race lead. But that also means we're now the most vulnerable car here, as everyone else can use the draft behind us to move past ourselves again. Look at that, Gilles de Ferran already doing so, Michael Andretti as well, and yeah, now even Pruett tries to follow their example. But now we are in the slipstream once again, and into turn 3 and 4. We are up. No, we are not, because there goes Scott Pruett, who wow, he had a great run on the 3 of us. So, well, down in 4th, down to 5th once again. But of course, leading this race might not even be the preferable thing to do right now, because let's also talk about strategy while we try to get a good draft here from Andretti once again to take the race lead. Oh my god, we're trying to make it 4 wide into 3, and it even works. Staying down low. Let's see where we come out. Just Andretti just ahead of us. The Ferran as well, Pruitt. Yeah, I was talking about strategy. So, yeah, it is probably a good thing to not run in clean air the whole time in oval racing, because, well, the thing is, you're using much more of your fuel if you're running in clean air, of course. So, yeah, and it is pretty much a tight affair here between a 2 and a 3 stop today. At the beginning of this race, we had enough fuel in the tank as we just take the race lead here for 42 laps, and we have a total of 125. So it is very, very tight in the end, and we might need a caution or a bit of fuel saving to be able to make it on a 2 stop. We believe some of these cars might be on a 3 stop. We're trying to go for that 2 stop strategy, which means we have to hope for a caution at some point of this race to extend 1 or 2 stints, ideally 2 stints, to be absolutely sure. Or, well, to use the time at some point and fuel save. But for now, the most important thing, I've mentioned it again and again, is to stay at that top group to make our strategy work. Now we're starting to drop down further and further, as we're down in 6th, 7th now, with Bobby Rahal making it past. So yeah, these early stages are just about positioning your car well, and yeah, trying to stay with the top group. What is, and I realized that when I was, well, yeah, doing some training races ahead of these races. You know, I'm not too familiar yet with oval racing, or still with oval racing. So yeah, I practiced a bit here to see what this is about on this track, and yeah, what I realized is that one thing you absolutely can't do at Fontana is having a gap ahead of you. So running in clean air but not in the top group, it is super hard to catch up, because if you're running against a group ahead of you, they all are using each other's slipstream and getting the draft from each other, and it is impossible for you to catch up to them if you don't have the slipstream of the car ahead. So yeah, this is really the most important thing. Stay with the guys ahead of you, and if you want to win this race, stay with the leading group. Well, and right now it looks like these top two are trying to pull away. Well, that didn't work. Andretti now attacking them once again. Back in 5th. Ooh, and now we're getting a good run on Zanardi and Herta. And now this is Pruitt and Andretti just ahead of us, so maybe now we are able to get back into that race lead. That would be very good. So the first goal of today we're accomplishing pretty well by staying here. Now, oof. Yeah, we were backing out of that one. But we might still get a chance here on the back straight. Yeah, Pruitt was kind of boxed in here, so he didn't have a chance to move past Andretti. So we take the race lead, but Zanardi comes out of nowhere and retakes it. And there goes Andretti and Scott Pruitt as well. And Bryan Herta also moves past. So yeah, absolutely crucial where you position your car. You can just see it there. You're sitting duck if you're just taking a wrong line to a corner. And we kind of feel like we are bound to that low line here, which isn't too preferable right now. But well, what you gonna do? There goes Herta once again, enjoying a good slipstream from the cars behind. Now, this is good because we have Pruitt on the low line, so maybe we even can take advantage. Oh, and there's the first caution of the day. We have to slot in third, but let's watch what happened. We get a replay, and this is about Richie Hearn here in the Budweiser number 10 car. So what's happened? He's running just behind Tony Kanaan. Oh, and he just loses it there. Ooh, that of course is nasty. In turn 1 over to turn 2. He just lost it. And yeah, that led to the first caution of the day. Now this is very interesting because now we already can see that the field is split strategy-wise. A lot of cars, especially, and this is most important, all championship contenders except ourselves move in, and this is definitely a 3-stop that they are on. So that means, as they are now, well, pretty much, well, all except Bryan Herta are out of the points right now. But this is, of course, they are the only ones that have stopped so far, and everyone ahead of them hasn't. So things will change once again. But that means that now we would be in a position to win the championship. But yeah, this is all something that will happen in the future. And now we control the grid at the restart, and we have a clean road ahead of us, and we were able to save a bit of fuel, and this is very important. And we even get a pretty good restart, as we are already pulling away from the cars behind us that are on the same strategy as ourselves. And yeah, a good restart for us, and that caution was very crucial or very important for that title fight, definitely. Well, and then there was, of course, a lot of jostling for position going on between the top guys after that restart. But here we are in the pit lane, getting our tires changed, and a full tank of fuel once again. This was lap 45 that we made it in, so we are definitely on target right now. Let's see for the second stop. We should be in around lap 87-ish, something around that marker. Preferably, of course, lap 90, so another 45 lap stint. And that would be absolutely good. Now, of course, we have dropped down a lot. The 3-stoppers already moving up the order. There's still guys that haven't stopped at all. So for some of them, they're in the way. And now Bryan Herta is in a prime position to take the championship here. So this changes all the time, and it will change all the time. And only in the late stages, in the very late stages, it really will crystallize who is fighting for the championship and who is not. Well, and here we're still running in our stint. It was a very lonely stint. Of course, this is not good because we are burning up a lot more fuel because we have no one behind us, ahead of us, that we could take advantage of in terms of slipstream. Oh, and there's Bryan Herta. Bryan Herta, the first one to come in for his second pit stop of the 3-stop guys. And now this is very interesting because Herta, the first one to come in, and he comes out, or he is now running just behind us. And this is now very crucial because even though we are out of sync, we're running on the same bit of road right now, with both having one stop still to do. And now here are other guys coming out of the pit lane. Let's see who they are. So more of the 3-stoppers. And now we decide to turn up the fuel again that we turned a little down. To save it, of course. That is a Chip Ganassi car there. We're catching up to them. And yeah, I mean, a thing that you might say now is, well, why are you on that different strategy? Because you're still on the same bit of road and you all have just one pit stop to go, but you had to fuel save. Well, the thing is that we now have a much lighter car than the guys that just made it out of the pit lane. So we try to take advantage of that right now. This is Michael Andretti. There are more cars coming out of the pit lane. I think that was Mark Blundell. As we almost run into the back of Andretti there. Oh, two Chip Ganassis there. Vasser and Zanardi. It would be very, very important for us to move past all of them and now take advantage of that lighter car and run a little bit away from them, while also making that stint last long enough. And there's someone else coming out of the pit lane. Who's that? Scott Pruitt. Jimmy Vasser now manages to run away a bit from us and his teammate. And we're cycling up more and more, and we will be fighting for the race lead once again when everyone has made their pit stop. So we just moved Jimmy Vasser there. There's someone else on the apron coming out of the pit lane. Getting some good slipstream right now. Oh, that is even two cars. De Ferran and Michel Jourdain Jr. What a strong race for Jourdain Jr. because he hasn't scored a single point this season, and he is running right with these guys here, fighting for a very high position. These are Canard, Franchitti, Carpentier. We moved past Dario Franchitti, but Dario Franchitti with the brilliant late stop or later stint, longer stint than the others. He cycled up the field once again, and let's see how the standings are. We have now retaken the race of the lead, and De Ferran, Carpentier, Jourdain Jr., Franchitti, this is the running order, and by that, oh, now this is a very interesting situation, and this is how we could run in the end as well. Of course, this is just, well, a momentarily image, but now we are leading the championship because Franchitti is only running in 5th. He is ahead of the other championship contenders. But with Franchitti only running in 5th and us leading this race, we would actually win the championship. Because we're on the same points as Franchitti, as you saw there. But we would have one race win more. So we win on countback. And here we are in now for our second and final pit stop. That stint was long enough once again, so we are fine to go to the end of the race now. And this is where it really will get interesting. Max Papis is just ahead of us. He's a lap down though, so we don't need to worry about him. Actually, that he's there is good. If he's fast enough, we can maybe take advantage of his slipstream. Now everyone is lapping us, but this is a normal thing on ovals to get laps under a green flag pit stop, but we don't worry about that one at all because, as I mentioned, all of them still have one pit stop to go. They're on a different strategy than us, so let's just keep it clean and do the same that we did in the second stint, because after the pit stops we were then ahead of everyone. Getting up to speed once again. This is always a bit of a critical thing, that first lap after a pit stop, because the tires of course are still cold. You need to get them up to temperature, but by now we should have done so, and we are... Oh no. Oh, and that might change things dramatically. A second caution of the day, because there has been a crash involving Bobby Rahal. What a shame. Bobby Rahal in his final kart race of his career. He will end his racing career after today. And he has crashed out of the California 500. Oh, he just lost it in turn 3. And that might change things up dramatically. And it did so. But that is the onboard by the car running just behind him, Mark Blondell. And that will change things up dramatically. This is how we're running after this round, or after this caution. The three stoppers used this opportunity now, of course, to go into the pit lane, get pretty much a free pit stop. Well, we're down in 7th now with a couple of lapped cars, for example, Max Papis and the Panasonic car there in our way. And now we have to move up the order to fight for them once again. Jourdain Jr., what a great restart once again by him. He's fighting for the first points of this season. And now we have to do everything to move up back to the race lead. And this is brilliant for Franchitti. You've seen it. He is leading this race right now. He has taken great advantage out of that situation and out of that caution. And well, now we have it all to do. In this case, of course, the two-stop strategy was not the preferable one, but at least we're still on the lead lap and we are not too far away from the absolute top. Some absolutely mad standings right now, as you've seen. Arndt Meyer in that yellow Hasselröder car, he is also fighting for points because he's on a two-stop strategy, but he managed to extend his second stint so long that he pitted under the yellow as well. So yeah, absolutely mad running order right now. Carpentier, our teammate now, making a job unnecessarily difficult for us here. And the terrible news, you can see it there as we are battling Jourdain and Andretti, is that the top group, consisting of Franchitti, Zanardi and Tony Kanaan, have pulled a gap to P4. And that is the gap we are seeing right now ahead of us. And this is dramatic because we urgently need to close that gap to fight for the race win. And I've told you how difficult that is at Fontana. Well, and as we are trying to still close the gap, we somehow miss that Carpentier is down low on our inside. And we turn into him. We had a little bit of a moment there. We made contact, but luckily we were able to keep it out of the wall and keep our car going in a straight line still. Well, now this might actually not be too bad. So Carpentier, our teammate, helping us out there a little bit, giving us a bit of slipstream to aid our quest to move closer to these guys ahead. And right now this is looking increasingly well. We're definitely getting closer. This might not be all lost. But of course now let's also get that out of the way. The other championship contenders, they are all behind us. But Franchitti, even if we win now, Franchitti finishing 4th is good enough for Dario to take the championship. So we would need another 5th car in that fight for the win to actually have a realistic chance that we might still take the championship here on the final race of the season. Because we've seen that for us to take the lead, Franchitti needs to finish 5th. And right now, as this is now becoming a 4-car battle for the race win, it would be just enough for Franchitti to sit behind that group, finish that race in 4th, and no matter what we do, he would still win the championship. But nevertheless, even if that is the case, let's still fight for that race win here. On the actual race here at Fontana in 1998, Greg Moore lost the race lead in the final lap after a late caution to Jimmy Vasser, who was the race winner. Now here, this is being fought out between a rookie Tony Kanaan, finally a good oval race after he crashed out of the first 2 oval races this season in Rio and Gateway. Now he finally is having an impressive, absolutely impressive oval race here, fighting for the race win. Alex Zanardi, another car, he's also out of the championship. He had a very disappointing season up until that point so far as well, the reigning champion. But now, for now, let's look at us. Trying to take the race lead here, once again. And we do so, but now, immediately, Franchitti comes around to retake first. So, yeah, probably the race win, unless of course something unforeseeable happens, will be fought out between us four here. Trying to stay down low against Franchitti. Back in the lead, but now Franchitti just edging slightly ahead. Oh, what a battle this is here for the lead right now. And now we have taken that race lead. Maybe we can stay here for a bit. This is still live images. Just looking at this from the outside perspective to better see where these other three are and where they are taking us. And now, this is just 17 laps to go here. That was a pretty late caution that was brought out by Bobby Rahal. So, yeah, we will stay at that action here to see how this race and how the battle plays out. Now, of course, when is the time to fully push? Where do you want to be in the last couple of laps? Is it better to be in second, maybe even third? Take advantage of the draft and then move past at the right points? Defending the lead is of course a very tough task, as you see here, but preparing for these final laps, I tried to do that a bit. I mean, we have more than enough fuel, so it is even good maybe to run up front and to burn a bit of that, because, well, we had too much fuel on board now with that caution. So yeah, not even running too bad running in first. 15 to go now only. Franchitti once again trying to choose the high line against us. We stayed low, and yeah, I was using that here to kind of train a bit where to position the car so that they just don't breeze past with the draft and slipstream advantage. So that is actually a good opportunity for us now to prepare for the final laps of this race, when they probably will increase the intensity of their attacks. But yeah, they are looking pretty racy still. Oh my god, this is very close, running on that high line there into turn 1. But once again, we managed to stay ahead of Franchitti, who still is in second. And of course, this is now a very comfortable situation for a championship leader as well. I explained it earlier. Franchitti, he just can lift off a bit, just stay with us, run in the draft, but finish 4th, and he would take the championship without having won a race this season. So maybe this is something that is in his mind as well. Maybe he just wants to win it here to actually have won a single race in that mini season to take the championship. But for now, that lead belongs to us. Franchitti even dropped down a little bit there. Now Zanardi is trying to take it. Looking good on that high line. Oh, and there goes Kanaan trying it low. Also, that would be an awesome story if Tony Kanaan would win this race here in his rookie season in 1998. But this is all very much not decided yet, and it will all come down to the last couple of laps. I think it will only be decided in the last 5 laps. This is all just a bit of strategy, tactics going on. An almost 400 kilometers an hour chess game, pretty much. And we're pretty happy that we're able to stay in the lead for this long. This gives us hope that this might be the best position to be in the end. But of course we don't know how hard the guys behind us are trying. And the gap to the next car behind us, which is Andretti, is getting bigger and bigger. So unless a caution or something happens, this is how this race will end. With these four fighting for the race win at Fontana, California Speedway. I think it was one of the fastest, if not the single fastest track that was in these late 90s kart calendars. And what a great track it is. I really liked that. That was the favorite oval for me that we raced on this season. As Kanaan now is going for the race lead, and he even has it. His car is slightly ahead, but the low line working a charm for us now. We struggled at the early stages of this race on the low line, but now in the late stages it works pretty well here. So this is what we will be going for, forcing them the long way to make a move. But well, now it looks like Kanaan has a good opportunity. Kanaan might be the first one to find a way past ourselves once again. There he is ahead, but now the low line once again working pretty well for us. Moore still in the race lead. And only a couple of laps to go now. Now the fight will intensify. We go on board with our... Oh my god. Oh, that changes things up dramatically. A very, very late caution. Just a couple of laps to go now. And the caution flies. What has happened? Gilles de Ferran is the one bringing it out this time. Here he's fighting in the lower points positions. What's happening? They go through one and he just loses it. And only just avoids Alonso Jr. and Mauricio Gugelmin. Let's also look at that from the onboard of the Brazilian. Going across the line here. And now you will see that Gilles de Ferran car trying to move past on the low line, and he just lost it. Maybe touched the apron there, but oh my goodness, that has switched that race, or might have switched the championship fight upside down. Franchitti, of course, still in the lead. We've talked about that. Fourth is enough for him if we win this race, but now the field is bunched up again. He has Andretti just behind him. He can't afford to lose one more position than fourth, and this is race and championship critical. Just 4 laps to go with that restart here. And we're on the way. Let's try to once again get a good restart like we did the last time we were leading, when the field went green once again. And it is another very good restart. We've taken a couple of car lengths away from Kanaan and Zanardi behind us, and it's a terrible restart for Dario Franchitti. He's lost touch with Kanaan and Zanardi, and now he might be vulnerable for the cars behind him. On the top right we see us running. We have a pretty healthy gap to Kanaan behind us, and now Franchitti under attack from Andretti. 3 to go. Andretti takes 4th away from Franchitti. And Franchitti now out of the championship lead. There goes Michel Jourdain Jr. as well. Oh, that is absolutely mad. Franchitti, due to a late caution, might lose the championship here. Now he retakes that 4th position from Andretti. Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting the last couple of laps. Franchitti's championship. Will it all fall apart here? 2 to go. Jourdain Jr. now on the inside. What a story that would be. Jourdain Jr., he hasn't scored a single point so far this season, but now he might cost Franchitti the championship. Side by side onto the back straight. The gap at the top is increasing. We will win this race unless we make a mistake. Just 1.5 laps to go. Franchitti still in 4th, but Jourdain now with the better line for the final corner. Jourdain has taken 4th. Franchitti trying to get that slipstream on the final lap to move past. He chooses the highlight, but he's not good. There is not enough space. Andretti, there goes Andretti, moves past both of them. Franchitti loses 2 positions. There's Carpentier, Pruitt as well. Oh my goodness, can Franchitti still come back from this? Now he gets a good run on Jourdain and Andretti. Oh, I can't believe it. He might even take it. Greg Moore wins in Fontana. But Franchitti, he's back in position. He just made it. Franchitti takes the championship in a dramatic final. A sprint to the line. Franchitti emerges on top and wins the kart 1998 season without having won a single race this season. And what a finale it has been. Congratulations to Dario Franchitti. He is the 1998 kart champion. And now let's look at the final results and standings after the California 500. Greg Moore wins, Tony Kanaan second. An impressive way to finish off the season for the rookie. Alex Zanardi finishes 3rd. Dario Franchitti 4th. Just 4th, ahead of Michael Andretti, Scott Pruitt, Michel Jourdain Jr., Patrick Carpentier, Adrian Fernandez, Mauricio Gugelmin, Alain Sergioni in 11th, and Christian Fittipaldi takes the final point of the season. And for the championship top 12, that means that Dario Franchitti, just 2 points ahead of Greg Moore, wins the 1998 kart championship. Michael Andretti then finishes 3rd, Bryan Herta 4th. Herta failed to score points here in this race. That final round of pit stop really cost him dearly. Alex Zanardi then 5th, Jimmy Vasser 6th, Bobby Rahal 7th, Scott Pruitt 8th, Gilles de Ferran 9th, Tony Kanaan 10th. So he definitely is rookie of the season, finishing in the top 10. Amazing season then in the end by the Brazilian Alain Sergioni in 11th and Adrian Fernandez in 12th. Yeah, well, and that has been it for an absolutely amazing kart 1998 season. I so much enjoyed doing these videos, and yeah, what a final to cap off this season. Yeah, my voice needs a break now, but of course the classic racing will continue on this channel. We will be going back to Formula 1 for the next season. I'm already looking forward to this one, and yeah, I hope to see you all there. Subscribe to not miss anything, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and yeah, I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.